I think as children, some of the books that grab us the most are the most unexpected and unusual. And for me, one of those books was Pink and Say by Patricia Polacco. I'm Carly, and I'd like to tell you a little bit more about why this book is incredible. It's by Patricia Polacco, an author and illustrator, which when I was a child, I didn't know that you could both author and illustrate your own books. So that was one thing that already drew me in. I loved Patricia Polacco for Rashenka's Eggs and Thunder Cake and Just Plain Fancy, and but this book was different to me. It was unusual and it was unexpected. So some of the things that I think kind of brought it out to light for me would be that the context, first of all, was historical. It was about the Civil War. It's about these two boys, Sheldon and Pincus, and I didn't know much about the Civil War when I was 10, so I was really excited to learn quite a bit more about that. Clearly it's an interracial context. It's about these two boys, and they are fighting for the Union North, and Sheldon is shot, and Pincus takes him to his mother's house until he's well. Eventually his mother is killed by marauders, and they separate the two boys, and it's just devastating. But it's also told in this beautiful sort of southern callback to freeing slaves, and it was just a really unusual language sound for me as a child. I think that was really compelling. So I'm going to show you a few of my favorite parts. The first one says, "I will tell it in his own words as nearly as I can," because this is Patricia Polacco actually telling Pincus A. Lee's story, and I always found that fascinating as a kid, that a story like this would be real and that it would be a true story. So that was one of the things that I was excited about right away. I also loved how Patricia Polacco balances text with illustrations. This is a picture of Pincus taking Sheldon to his family, and I always thought it's just, you can see the struggle on his face, and that was always interesting and profound to me when I was little. Sheldon and Pincus end up having this conversation about how black people were not taught to read as slaves, and when I was 10 I just thought that was egregious. I couldn't imagine a world without reading, and it ignited a whole bunch of other books that I was excited about, like Sarnie by Gary Paulson, and some of the American Girl books about Addie, and so that was exciting for me too, and just kind of mind-blowing as a 10-year-old, thinking that people wouldn't be taught to read. Eventually, when the marauders come, Pincus's mother hides them, and as a result she's killed, and it's just devastating for Sheldon to watch Pincus lose his mother, who's become so important to both of them. But the soldiers find them, and they pull them apart, and the whole time Sheldon is amazed that Pincus touched the hand of Abraham Lincoln. So when they pull the boys apart, this is the best part. There's this incredible illustration of their two hands being yanked apart, and Sheldon asks to touch the hand that touched the hand of Abraham Lincoln one more time. And I remember that just gripping me, even as a little child. And then in the end, you can see that it's Patricia's grandfather telling her the story. And he says, "This is the hand that has touched the hand that has touched the hand that shook the hand of Abraham Lincoln." Really makes you feel like you're part of the story. So the book's written as a memory to Pincus A. Lee, and it was new and different, and it was compelling to me, and it was one of my favorites at 10.